now, listen up.
3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
That's great.
This is ridiculous.
99.3 The Truth.
You can't handle the truth. Right now.
Ooh.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it.
It's time for Mac's World. And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Call Mac 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
It's showtime, everybody. Showtime.
Exclusively on 99.3 The Truth.
It's 3:07 on the 8th day of November in the Lord's year 2016. I'm J. Michael McCoy, and this is Mac's World. It's here. It's here. Election Day 2016. Did you ever? I really feel like the prince who's been walking around with the glass slipper since New Year's Eve. But it's been 3 flippin' years of New Year's Eve. I mean, I love the fact that we're first in the nation. We're a caucus. I love the attention that it brings to Iowa. I have friends all over the country who know that we have the big election caucuses and that we grow potatoes. I mean, I love the fact that they know that about Iowa. But man, am I tired of this. How about you? I was watching a television program yesterday, a local television program. I don't watch a lot of local TV outside of the news, so this was in the news. And I think this was the spot break. I think it was Confirst and County and then Young and then the anti-Young and then the Trump and then the anti-Trump. And then they came back and did County and Confirst again. So there were like 9 30-second commercials, back to back, all political. What are we going to watch tomorrow? I mean, maybe Brian will be back on with Service Legends or Big John, Cars or something. Well, anyway, because Frank and Tom are here, we're going to have to talk a little bit about politics today.
Yay!
But, hey, Tom, did you hear what Frank said yesterday?
I listened to a little bit of the show. What did he say, Mac?
And we have it on tape.
Okay, what did he say?
That if Hillary Clinton wins, he's going to jump off the top of the roof without a parachute.
I said I'd give up on politics.
You're a more devoted man than I take my hat off to him.
Well, he said you were going to be the guy catching him. No, he said, tell him what you said.
I said I'm going to give up on politics and jump full on Jesus.
So we're not going to talk any more politics after tomorrow.
So I'm out of a job after tomorrow.
No. You can talk politics all day long. He can't. All right. So we are going to get into the presidential campaign a little bit later on in this hour and then into the second hour. Brian Myers is here from Caffeinated Thoughts. Chris Roloff is here. You're here. You're the most important person. I want to hear your thoughts. And we'll have a couple questions. If you want to come in and tell us who you voted for. I voted this morning at a brand new polling place because I moved from Clive to Des Moines. And by golly, they had me. I was really worried that, it just happened 2 months ago, so I was kind of concerned about that. But they had me down there, and I was the 732nd person to vote at my polling place at about noon. So that was pretty good, I think, over in Des Moines. Did you vote yet?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I didn't wear my I voted sticker in, Mac, but you can count on my wife led me in by the hand. I initially screwed up the ballot. I voted for both Hillary and Trump.
Did you really?
And I said, this was a mistake. I meant to vote for Jill Stein. I'm sorry. I need a new ballot.
Oh, badoom ching. All right. All right, well, we'll talk about that election. But first, I want to introduce you to a couple of fine young men. Taylor Collins, who is a sophomore at the Iowa State University from Elgin, Illinois, right?
Macomb, Illinois.
Illinois, I'm sorry. And John Wilkin, who is a sophomore at ISU, and you are originally from...
Eagan, Minnesota.
Eagan. See, that's where I got Elgin and Eagan.
Yes.
Yeah. See how I did that?
Yeah, I saw that.
You believe that?
Not really.
Good. I wouldn't either. All right. And yesterday, Taylor sent me a video that President Leith, is
Yes.
that Leith?
Yep, Leith.
Of Iowa State put out, and we're going to listen to that video in a minute. And we're not only going to talk about the consequence of a statement like that from the president of a major university, but also we're going to talk about a young man by the name of Robert Dunn. And I think Robert will probably be on the radio with us here in the next week or so. And Alliance Defending Freedom has decided to take up his case as he sues ISU. And so we'll talk about that in a minute. First, I want you to hear this message from President Leith from Iowa State University that he put out yesterday on YouTube. Can you roll that good bean footage there? We need
Good morning. I'm President Stephen Leith. Tomorrow, Iowa State joins all of America in making what many consider the most important decision facing our country. The 2016 presidential election has arguably been one of the most contentious, emotional, and intense elections in history. It's ripped open deep societal wounds and ignited fierce debate in our country. Throughout the presidential campaign, the First Amendment, including freedom of speech, religion, and press, has been both exercised to its fullest extent and challenged to its core. Here at Iowa State, we recognize the First Amendment as an essential principle of education. Freedom of expression is critical to a vibrant, dynamic, and diverse learning environment. But while it's our legal obligation as a public institution to uphold the First Amendment, it's our human responsibility to condemn free expression when it is hateful, racist, bigoted, or discriminatory. The posters found on our campus 2 weeks ago may be factually described as white heritage posters rather than white supremacy posters because they do not legally violate the First Amendment. However, as human beings, we recognize those posters as hateful, racist, and bigoted. The message they explicitly and implicitly conveyed defy everything we worked for at Iowa State to create an environment where everyone feels welcome, included, and valued. I'm repulsed by the actions of the individual or group responsible. For many people, including me, the posters evoke feelings of anger or disgust. But for others, the posters also generate a real fear for their safety and well-being. Please hear me when I say this. Anyone who feels that their race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, religion, or political views makes them superior to others is encouraged to find another institution that better aligns with those values. Iowa State is not the place for you. As Iowa Staters, we must prevail over racism, discrimination, and bigotry by opening our minds and hearts to each other. We know our campus is far from perfect, but we can improve if we commit ourselves to the principles of the Iowa State community. Commit to treating each other with respect, purpose, and cooperation. Value the richness of diversity. Work together against discrimination, and honestly and respectfully express your ideas. Tomorrow we will decide who will lead our country.
He goes on then to say tomorrow we vote for our country and everything like this. And I think you, Taylor, put it better than I can. So tell me, your words, not mine, what you felt the underlining message that President Leith's video was telling us.
His underlying message was he goes from within 3 minutes from talking about what many would consider white supremacy posters that were put up, which was taken care of 2 weeks ago, and then a day before the election tries to tie it into the presidential election. Why would he bring that up a day before the election?
Unless he had an agenda.
Which they usually do.
And what would you, in your humble opinion, not the opinions of this radio station, this network, or anyone else in this room, maybe Frank, what do you think his agenda was?
Well, I think it's a progressive agenda, just like the majority of all public institutions around this country. And I think it's just another example of what they're trying to shove down the throats of millennials, in that they don't feel like anything else should be tolerated besides their agenda, even though apparently they are the ones of open-mindedness.
Yeah.
You want to say something?
Well, of course I want to say something.
All right, go ahead.
Well, first off, tell us what the posters said. How hateful were these posters? What did they say?
Yeah, I can answer that one.
there was a handful of them that were put up. One said, in 1950, America was 90% white. It is now only 60% white. Will you become a minority in your own country? Another said, are you sick of anti-white propaganda in college? You are not alone. There's a couple others that were just, I wouldn't say hateful per se, but they're saying like be proud of your white heritage, and they weren't directly bashing minorities, but they're definitely like promoting what some would call white supremacy.
It sounds like a pushback from the Black Lives Matter and all the stuff we've had. Does this kind of...
Yeah, by the way, if you're watching the webcast, Jebediah does have some of those posters up there. But go ahead.
Does this take the heat off of Leith for his airplane scandal? Is this part of that narrative? Is he's going to try to get himself back in good graces with the media by this move? Is that it?
Well, I don't think he's going to be in my good graces until this lawsuit's finished up and the students' First Amendment rights, as well as this agenda, stop being pushed down the throats of the students here at Iowa State.
Amen. Unfortunately, you guys are in a minority, aren't you? You are in a minority, literally.
Even at ISU, because I always thought of ISU as being a little bit more conservative than particularly Iowa City. It is.
Yeah. Right.
But it still leans more left.
As do most college campuses, I would say.
All right, let's take a break. We're coming back. We're going to continue this conversation with Taylor Collins, a sophomore at ISU, and John Wilkin, a sophomore at ISU. A little bit later, we're going to talk about Robert Dunn, who is suing Iowa State, and he is being defended by the Alliance Defending Freedom. And we'll talk about that later on. The big one. It's Election Day in Mac's World.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi. My name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 90.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
21 minutes after 3 o'clock, 3:21 in the afternoon. It's here, it's here, it's here. 8th day of November in the Lord's year 2016. It's here, it's here, it's here. Oh, no more. No more ads. No more. Except a buddy of mine, Drew County, told me today that he thinks that Trump is not done no matter what happens. If he loses, he's not going to be a good loser.
Well, the irony is it's the opposite, Mac. The Democrats are preparing all sorts of legal challenges. They're famous, Mac. You know how Harkin was. He was always famous for accusing his opponent of something that he'd done.
Yeah.
The Democrats were accusing Trump of doing this, and the irony is that they've been readying their legal troops to have challenges all over the country. They're the ones that aren't going to go quietly. Yeah.
Well, Tom, ever since Gore Bush in 2000, the Democrats have been threatening that they're ready for lawsuits in any election, in any presidential election.
Yep.
So they're the ones. It's the old saw that you're accusing the person of what you actually are.
And that's a favorite tactic. And so, Mac, the unfortunate thing is your guy was right, only he's right on the wrong side. If Trump can pull off the win, unless it's an overwhelming win, there's going to be all sorts of lawsuits and things filed all over the country by there. They're ready.
Well, obviously, we will have complete coverage tomorrow of what happened tonight in all the races. Are you coming in tomorrow? You're welcome.
I don't know if you need me to. I've got a luncheon to go to, but
we don't start till 3.
I know,
unless you're a late eater.
If it's important, Mac, I can squeeze it in. You know, I'm here for you.
Oh man! In other words, what you're saying is you can cancel your golf game. Well, Shane Vanderhart will be here from Caffeinated Thoughts, and he's a good analyst, so we're gonna unpack everything.
Yeah, Shane's a good man.
And this is kind of geek, even though, and Tom, you more than anybody know this, I just don't talk politics the way I used to. I mean, it used to be top topic.
Mentioned that to Frank the other day. I don't think you have the interest in politics like you used to.
No, because my kingdom is no longer of this world. So I don't care what these yahoos do. But given that, I think tomorrow it's important that we talk about this, and I kind of feel geeked up. I told a friend of mine today, I said, what do you want to do something tomorrow night? Or today? You want to do something tonight? And I said, yeah, I don't. No, I'm going to get my yellow pad, and I'm going to sit in front of my TV like I always do, and I'm going to write down what's going on in different states, and I'm a numbers guy when it comes to the electoral votes, so we'll see what happens. All right, Frank, you've been sitting there holding up your hand like you got to go potty.
The Republicans going to hold the Senate?
Yes. I know it's going to be close.
Is that a prediction or is that a hope?
Well, both. I think they say one of the key races is down in Missouri.
Roy Blunt. And,
I don't think the Democrats have even given up now, taking over the House. They still have hopes for the Senate. I think we still hold the Senate by a small margin.
All right, well, we'll talk about all that next hour when we fully get into politics. All right, I want to introduce you to Taylor Collins. Somebody just wrote me and told me I'm saying sophomore incorrect. That's because I'm from Nebraska, and if you... No, it is. If you grew up in Nebraska and listened to Nebraska football with Lyle Bremser on KFAB, Lyle Bremser would always say sophomore, because how is sophomore spelled? Sophomore.
Well, I had, when I was going to my polling place day, there was a guy right in front of me, Mac, that had on a University of Iowa Hawkeye hat.
I'm sorry.
And he was kind of stumbling through, and he said something about wanting to vote to straight Democrat ticket. And I said, does this just the Hawkeye hat automatically disqualify him? He said, well, we can't go there. So what about if you had a Nebraska hat on? Oh, well, then we could go there.
Oh, thanks. Fine. Well, we'll see how things go the day after Thanksgiving. Okay, we'll just see. So Taylor Collins is here, a sophomore with ISU, and John Wilkin is here. He's also a sophomore at ISU, both very involved in campus politics. Taylor, you were...
I was the head of millennials for Cruz at Iowa State.
Okay, and were you involved in the politics up there at Iowa State for the presidential stuff?
Not so much in the clubs, but I made a point of going to see all the candidates who had visited campus over the past year and a half or so.
Were you there at that ISU game when everybody showed up, including Trump?
I was, yeah.
I was too. Yeah, I was. In fact, I was smart. Well, I wasn't smart. The guy that I was with was smart and said, let's not go inside the stadium. Let's stay out here because this is where we'll see the... And sure enough, I don't remember all the people we talked to that day. 5 or 6 people probably.
Yeah.
All right, so... we have a situation where the president of your college put out a video yesterday, and I would agree with you. The message leaned very left. It was very leaning left. It was saying if you're a bigot or a racist or whatever, you're not welcome to come to Iowa State. Talked about some racist. I guess were the posters bigoted, racist, both? Who knows?
We're not here to advocate for the posters, but what we are here to say is we don't need to be tying these posters together to any political party, whether it's the left or the right.
Yeah,
exactly.
And he did.
He did.
And those liberals out there, I didn't hear him say that at all. Well, then you're stupid. Because you ought to listen to what he said and be smart enough to read between the lines. Listen, today is your day, liberal. Today is low information day. Low information voter day. Today's the day when you get to walk in and exercise your American right to vote and show that you're stupid. How in heaven's name would you ever vote for Hillary Clinton? Now, I don't know. I don't know if Trump is amazingly better, but he's better. Okay, I mean, it's not here. So you have 10 pennies, and you stack them up, and then you have 1 penny, and you put it beside the 10 pennies. Which stack has more pennies? You're, as a liberal, going to say, "Well, I don't know how much is a penny worth." There's 10 of one. And there's 1 of the other. Well, but I don't know how much the pennies are worth. To some people, they may be worth a penny, and they may be worth more. And this is the logic, or lack of it, that you will bring into the election booth today. You probably already have. Probably voted early. Weenie. How can you want her? Call me. Somebody call. I'll be nice to you. I won't call you a weenie. Call me and explain to me how she's going to be a great president. And don't tell me about Trump. If the only thing you can do is tell me Hillary's great because Trump's worse, I got nothing for you. You got no skin in the game in Mac's world. I want you to tell me why Hillary Clinton is the best person on the planet Earth to be the next president of the United States.
Can Tom and I call them weenies?
You can call them weenies. That's fine. All right. Now, there's some other stuff going on at Iowa State that kind of I was going to say tar and feathers Leith, too. And he's really coming under fire. The plane deal and now this video and this. Tell me what else is happening.
So this September, a suit was filed, not by Robert Dunn, the student, but by the Alliance Defending Freedom on his behalf, saying his First and 14th Amendment rights were violated by trying to not conform with the school's anti-discrimination policies. And the reason why Robert was concerned is because he was told that if he simply says that marriage is between a man and a woman, that is discrimination. And so quickly he contacted the Office of Equal Opportunity, or whatever the heck it's called, and he was told that if he was to not comply with this, that his graduation would be put on hold and he'd be put on a list to be reviewed by the dean. And that's when the Alliance for Defending Freedom sued on his behalf. And at this point, it's still in court, and we're still waiting on that.
What does Robert Dunn hope for the outcome to be?
Well, he hopes that students shouldn't have to comply with this very broad interpretation of anti-discrimination. And basically what this policy says is even Iowa State has admitted that they are including speech that can annoy or even alarm another. He's not willing to give away his First Amendment rights for that. And he says, if so be it, if he has to sign away his if he's not going to sign away his First Amendment rights, just graduate.
Okay. And he's a senior.
He's a senior, yes.
All right. And you spoke to him last night.
Yes, I did.
All right. I'm going to give you an assignment. You are now you're going to make the same amount of money that Frank makes.
Oh boy.
It's going to be in the upper bracket then.
Yeah. Can you get him on the radio for me?
I think he'd be happy to come on the radio. Okay. Talk about this.
Yeah, we'll get a date sometime next week.
Okay.
And what's today? Today's
the 8th. Tuesday.
That's why you make the big bucks, Frank. You keep track of these things.
And so we're completely booked this week. But maybe Monday or Tuesday, whatever works with your schedule, the three of you can come back down if you want, and let's talk more about this.
Sure.
And let's make sure the podcasts on this get out there and people know about it, because this is the example of what, as you said, you guys are dealing with at a liberal college, or well, at any college.
Any college, really.
There's instances of stuff like this all across the country, actually.
Yeah, and it's worse in some places.
Yeah, definitely.
But this is absolutely a challenge to our First Amendment rights. And it's so vague. What did you say it was? That if it offends?
They even have acknowledged that the policy doesn't cover activities which don't even meet the legal definition of harassment. And that includes things that annoy or alarm another. Well, I'm sorry, but some things are going to annoy or alarm others, and I'm quite annoyed with the certain things that have been said in this election even. So maybe we could outlaw some of the liberal politicians that come to campus then.
Yeah, well, one of my big deals is I'm a Jesus freak, and one of the things that Jesus taught me a few years ago was to stop being offended. I found that one of the ways I was very manipulative, if I didn't like the conversation you and I were having, John, in fact, you were actually kicking my butt in the conversation, I'd go, "You just offended me, John." And what would you say to that? Probably, I'm sorry, Mac. I didn't. Yeah. Well, I don't care what you think, John. You just offended me, and your whole conversation and point is gone out the window because I've totally sidetracked you and now made you deal with the fact that I was offended. Well, that's not a very nice way to be to people.
It's not. No, it's not a good way to have an intelligent dialect with someone. Either.
No. Well, what Jesus taught me after this happened is he also taught me that being offended is a choice. And there is no definition of offended that matches two people. So what might offend you doesn't offend anybody else. And why does it offend you, John? Because you choose to be offended. You choose to be offended. And so I'm kind of been on this kick for a few years. Why are you offended by that? Why do you choose to be offended? Why do you want to make yourself look like a victim and, quite frankly, a smaller thinking person by being offended rather than being educated and have, as you said, John, an intelligent conversation about something? So anyway, I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for coming down. You're welcome to stick around. We've got a full studio, but you're welcome to stick around. And if you have something you want to say in the conversations here in the next hour and a half, you're welcome to just go over to Frank and make him share his microphone with you. But you might bring some Lysol and
clean him up a bit. Yeah.
Clean it up a little bit. All right.
Well, thanks for having us.
You bet. We'll have you again. We'll get Robert Dunn on and we'll talk about this.
Okay.
We'd love to.
All right. We're coming back. Brian Meyer is here, and our Myers. And Chris Roloff is here, and we'll have a studio full as we're just going to sit back and let Frank pontificate for an hour and a half on why Trump is the best guy. And if you haven't voted yet, you should vote for Trump. And but we're also going to highlight the fact that if Hillary Clinton wins, Frank's never going to talk about politics again. Yeah, right. Coming back live.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed, fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed right or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money-back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. .338, 22 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News, and then we continue our conversation today. It's the last time we get to speculate. It's the last time we get to predict what will happen tonight after the polls close. I was talking to somebody. Was it you? Did I talk to you today, Tom? No.
You and I communicated on a potential guest, but...
Yeah. Is he going to come on today?
No. We were offered up Rudy Giuliani. Apparently, we were not in a high enough profile, Mac, in the right state to get Rudy Giuliani, but we were offered him.
Well, why did you offer if they don't come on?
Well, we've been offered a number of high-profile people and don't get them. So
here's why, and it's all your fault. No, next time we get offered, the answer is yes.
I always say yes.
Well,
I couldn't move quick enough.
Yes, just yes.
Yes. I
Yes.
said, yeah. And then he offered us a Baptist pastor from Texas. I said, yeah, we'll take him. No, he can't come on your time slot. Okay, so gave up.
All right, well, that's all right. We've been very blessed to have almost every presidential candidate on with us, except Hillary, of course. We didn't have Hillary or Bernie.
We didn't ask well enough there, did we, Mac?
We didn't what?
We didn't ask well enough, did we?
For Bernie and Hillary?
Yes.
No, I think the fact we didn't give any money to the Clinton Foundation and we weren't smoking what Bernie was smoking.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's it, isn't it, Myers?
That would have done it.
Yeah.
Give him a little graft over there at the foundation. She'd have showed up.
Yeah. So, it's funny. There was another radio announcer here in town that promised he'd get Hillary Clinton on, and he didn't. And you don't ever do that. You don't ever do.
Well, it was a good promotion for Van for a few days. I said, good luck, Van. I said, you can get her.
No, it was
Conway, wasn't it?
It was Simon.
Oh, well, Simon said that too. But remember, Van was going to allow both of them on there. Remember that he was going to get Trump and Hillary. Van promoted that for days. And
I didn't hear that.
He wasn't going to get that either.
And he didn't get that.
No.
Yeah, well. But we've had almost every presidential candidate on this year, as quite frankly, Tom and I do every 4 years. And I'm always told by the campaign people, because many times they're the same campaign people that bring, last 4 years it was Giuliani, and then 8 years ago it was Romney, and 12 years ago it was, whoever it was.
We had a lot of interaction with Romney, didn't we?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And remember, he was at your house and my house
on New Year's Day. I mean, we had a lot of interaction with Romney.
Yeah, I'll never forget I forgot to tell my mom and dad that he was going to be over at the house, and they're living in Hart or whatever they're living in back in the East Coast at the time, and Fox News goes live from my house, and my mother is sitting there going, "That looks a lot like Mac's house."
Isn't that something? I know.
That looks a lot like Mac. And finally, my sister called and said, "Mac's on TV."
Yeah, I know. And I looked out my front doorstep, and here was Greta Van Susteren, standing on my front doorstep, and I got her in the house, and had Jay Sekulow and all sorts of people. Yeah, and it was amazing, wasn't it? I did a Japanese TV interview that day.
My
Japanese was a little rusty, but
I'll bet it was.
A little rusty. So anyway, we've had a good run with politics here in Iowa, and it's because we're the first caucus in the nation, and I don't know if we'll ever lose that. I mean, every year they threaten to use it or lose it, and
well, if Hillary gets elected, it's more likely, Mac, because she has not done well here on the last two outings against either Obama or Bernie.
Right.
So.
Yeah, but is that within her power?
Mac, I don't know what's not within her power.
And you're not saying the president, you're saying her.
I'm saying her.
Well, Obama was kind of the opening act for what's not within your power.
There were FBI agents out Friday that were very disgruntled that Comey was shutting down the investigation.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
How do you get 65,000 emails and 1 week later say
650,000? Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed a zero. How do you get 650,000 emails and a week later say nope, nothing wrong?
There's much wrong, and again, it's Trump's right. It's a rigged system, and he's got to overcome the establishment on both sides of the aisle if he gets elected tonight.
All right, so let's talk about that. Let's introduce our panel, our star-studded panel of political, just huge.
Star-studded.
No, don't look.
Did you hear that, Chris?
I did.
Star-studded.
Myers.
Yo.
I didn't mean him.
Oh, sorry.
I meant you and Tom and Frank, Bob and I and Chris. We're not star-studded political people.
Well, I thought you might be being generous.
To Chris?
Yeah.
No. That wouldn't be generous. That would be charitable. Meaning, I gave him something that there's no way he's earned or deserved.
Some call that grace.
No, Jesus gives grace. I give charity.
I see.
But you would admit that. You don't give a rat's behind about politics. In fact, right now, like a little girl, what are you looking at? Your Facebook?
No, I'm looking at a news feed, son.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Thank you, Father.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you finding on your news feed?
Oh, all kinds of fun things about board games. In fact, I'm joking.
By the way, hey, where did those cupcakes go?
They're out. Were there cupcakes in this
building? They were delicious. They were delicious, Mac.
Anyway, this lady brought in cupcakes from Molly's Cupcakes, and they have board games.
What are you talking about?
In the store.
What?
Yeah. 312 East 3rd or something like that. I'll give you the address.
Sugar and games.
If somebody wants to bring in candy, pie, cupcakes, I'm open.
Well, I want to know when I left my studio and my radio console, my cupcakes were sitting right there. I want to know how did they grow legs and walk?
I didn't see them.
Who took them?
I did not see them.
They're sitting up there on the cabinet.
Why?
I don't know.
Who took them out of here?
I figure somebody would eat them.
Who took them out of here?
Me.
Why?
So I could eat them.
Because I figured if they were sitting there, somebody would eat them.
I would eat them.
Okay, go get them, Frank. Just go. You had no business taking my cupcakes out of my console.
I have a question. Do you happen to know who this person is? You know where I used to work, Mac.
Yes.
So I question the source of this food.
You question the source?
Yeah. Do you know this person?
Molly's?
No, the person that brought them.
Yeah, I know her. Yeah, her name is Courtney Callahan.
Yeah.
And she's one of the owners.
Oh, okay.
And she brought in 4 Molly's Cupcakes, and I'm telling you, boys, I know this is radio, so I'm not gonna, I can't, really let you see them on the radio. But
oh boy,
look at those babies!
Wow, those look good, Mac.
And I asked her, I said, "What makes Molly's?" I guess there's a cupcake place on every corner now, and every grocery store makes them. What makes them better? And she said it's really not the design or the dessert on top. It's really the cake. They do home baked, home batter, every day, brand new, the whole 9 yards.
From scratch.
Yeah, from scratch. So I had these cupcakes brought in here, and we can all share them. You don't look happy, Chris.
What are the rest of you guys going to eat?
I was going to say there's only 4, and I can eat 2.
Well, maybe we'll cut them in half and everybody gets a half. We do have 2 guests over here with John and Taylor. You know, they deserve some too.
I do carry a knife.
Run a lottery.
Huh?
I do carry a knife. It's only been used to cut hay bales and stuff like that. So
Okay.
If you want,
have you cleaned it since then?
No, but I can wipe it on my pants.
Okay.
That'll sterilize it for sure.
All right. So we do have a star-studded political panel today. And Chris, I was surprised you said you voted.
I did vote, yeah.
I kind of thought maybe you wouldn't.
No, yeah, I vote.
But there was a time this season that you weren't going to vote, or did I get that wrong?
I think that evangelicals, which I am one, I feel like we were pushed a lot to vote this particular time around, and pushed to vote for some deplorable people, if I could use that word.
Sure, Hillary used it. Why can't you?
And so I was really discouraged.
You eat with that mouth, do you?
I
Same
do,
one?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
You kiss your wife with that mouth?
I do.
Using that word deplorable.
Yeah, I don't even know how to spell it.
Never mind.
Starts with a D, probably.
No, it's an R.
But I realized that, one of the things, and people are still deciding if they're going to vote today, one of the things that motivated me to vote was there's a lot more at stake here than well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
It's the down line.
There's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here.
Hey, never say steak to a hungry man.
All right, we're coming back. We've got a panel full of people, and we're glad you're here. Phone lines are open at 515-244-0077. It's your voice I want to hear live here in Mac's World. It's here. It's here. The phone book's here. It's here. It's Election Day.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on! This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
.350, 10 minutes before the top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News. And then we'll continue our coverage. We've got a couple gentlemen here from ISU, Taylor Collins and John Wilkin. I'm interested in hearing, how they perceive this election. I'll be honest with you, I feel a little surreal. I do. I feel a little surreal today. I cannot believe it's finally here. I have been, in many ways, looking forward to this date. And in many ways, dreading it. especially after we got through with, who our candidates were going to be. I mean, everybody knew it was going to be Hillary. In fact, that whole media thing that Bernie was getting close and Bernie that's so much malarkey. I just, for those of you at home, no matter what side of the fence you stand on, the donkey or the elephant or the Republican or the Democrat or the liberal or the conservative, I hope you smelled the stench the media put out on that whole thing. Bernie had a snowball's... there isn't any. It wasn't going to happen. There was no way anybody but Hillary Clinton was going to be coronated as the Democratic nominee. In fact, tomorrow, we may very well say that about the 2016 presidential election. I'm not so sure. And I'll just tell you right now, I think it's Hillary by a landslide tonight. I think it's bigger than Nixon or McGovern in 68.
Really?
I do. And you know why I think so? Because it's the Clinton machine. There's no way that she is going to slip by. Her legacy is not going to be slipping by Mr. Deplorable.
But how do you account for the polls, though, Mac? I mean, are you saying that all the poll information and the polls are everywhere, this way, that way, up and down, and they're bass-backwards, they're not very reliable, but none of them had any majority lead for either candidate? Didn't matter what way you skew it.
Okay. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
If I may. Who's the company that gives out the awards and you're the best in the nation?
Academy Awards?
No. The business awards.
Oh, the
Better Business Bureau?
Business Bureau?
No, the keep working on it for me. The company that says this is the best automobile made. And
I know what he's talking about.
J.D. Powers.
That's
Report.
it.
Okay.
All right, J.D. Powers. Do you know who J.D. Powers and Company is?
No.
Okay, you buy the right to win the J.D. Powers Award.
Okay, but following your logic, which I think I know where you're going, why be at a close heat the whole time? What if you're the Hillary campaign? Why do you want to be neck and neck with a guy that you think is a deplorable moron? Why would you want to spend all kinds of money to bend the polls so that it looks like you're barely squeaking past a moron, someone who has mashed potatoes for brains? I'm going to spend a ton of money trying to just look like I'm just barely beating that person.
It's not Hillary. It's the media. It's the media who's trying to do what? What does the media want to do?
Well, they want ratings. They want people to listen. They want to sell advertising.
Right. They don't care about the truth.
Right, but
I'm even embarrassed by Fox News this cycle.
Right, but we're not talking about media there. We're talking about polls, and there's a large swath of polls. We're talking about polls from all different kinds, and they don't agree. They're not all consistent. I get that the polls aren't necessarily reliable. I'm just saying that the one thing that all the polls that I've seen do have in common is that there's a lot of neck and neck.
Let me introduce something on the polls, guys, before we lose this hour. And I want to point it out to some of your listeners. I watched this thing when we had it in July with what was called the Brexit. All the money on the betting sites was coming in heavy for them to remain. The polls all showed that way. The markets had adjusted that way. And I watched it. I'm going to watch it tonight in the same way. Because when it turned out, in fact, the head of the whole Brexit leave movement gave a concession speech when the polls were closed. What happened was the people spoke. And it was a similar situation to what Trump has made mention of this, but I've been watching, I've been anticipating these markets. I don't know if you guys follow the stock markets and some of the other markets, but when it came out on Sunday that the FBI in a very corrupt fashion was not going to pursue the obvious charges against Hillary and was going to let her skate again, the market shot up over 300 points yesterday on the Dow. I don't know where it closed today, but it was up at one point another 100 points. They have baked in, ladies and gentlemen, a Hillary win, a status quo win. If that does not happen, people that I respect estimate that we will see a very quick stock market drop of anywhere from 5 to 10%. There will be offshoot trades like the bonds and the gold that will shoot up because of the scared money. The establishment wants a Hillary win. That's an establishment win. And just watch. If Donald Trump pulls off the win tonight, which I'm still optimistic about, even though some people around this table may not be, and we can talk about why. I'm telling you right now, the warning is out. The markets will react and react violently to a Trump win if that's what happens by tomorrow. And in fact, it will happen tonight because the markets trade overnight. That's what I'm going to be watching. That's what I saw in the Brexit. We saw a dramatic move in the currencies and the stock market and the bonds, and we will see that again tonight if it happens.
So, Tom, go ahead, Brian.
Well, I was just going to say, Mac, if the fix is in, so to speak, to the extent that I think you were suggesting that it is, I don't think we would have seen something like the Bush win in 2000. I'm not saying that the media doesn't manipulate things, but I'm just saying I think there's a lot more that's going on out there. I mean, there's all these different dynamics at play, and I just don't think that it's quite that cut and dried in terms of the fix.
Okay, can I
see Tom over here nodding his head?
Well, and I've got a question too, Tom. If I understand what you're saying right, it's that if there's any fix in this, they want to continue to make it look favorable towards Hillary for the stock market purposes so that we don't have panic.
The same way that the Remain did. The media beat up on their version of deplorables over there. If you were going to vote to exit the EU, you were a deplorable person, uneducated. I saw Rekha Basu and others, the uneducated, the stupid ones.
The hayseeds.
And so they wouldn't even answer the polls in some cases because they were embarrassed. And some of Trump's people are embarrassed to do it. And we can talk about other reasons why the polls are wrong, but I think the polls are wrong. And we had that Kirstenitis on here. Remember he said the LA Times was an outlier? Well, there have been some other polls that have shown up, and there's some reasons why the other polls are probably wrong, and we can get into that in the next hour. But yeah, absolutely, the fix is in, and the polling is not done to inform people of what's going on. It's to manipulate people, to try to influence them, to depress them and have them not come out or to flip over because they want to be on the
winning side.
I
agree with that 100%.
Well, we can all go home. Brian agrees. All right, there's a cast of wonderful people here, including a couple of young Republicans at the Iowa State University. Taylor Collins and John Wilkins, they're going to join us a little bit later as we get ready to try to figure out what's going to happen in the elections tonight. It's my geek night. I get about 4 a year. I get the ball game that Nebraska plays in the bowl. I get the Daytona 500. I get the Indianapolis 500. And every 4 years, I get an election. So tonight I'll be with my yellow pad in front of the TV, keeping track of everything that goes on. And tomorrow we'll give you an unpacking. We're coming back in less than a few minutes, live here on The Truth.